Good morning, students. Today I would be talking about reptile classification. In our previous class, we discussed about the general characteristics of reptiles. So I would be doing a quick recap of characteristics of reptiles. Number one, they are strong compared. This is in comparison to amphibians. So number one, they are strong. They have bony skeletons and their feet end with claws. Number two, they are cold-blooded or ectothermic or even poikilothermic animals, and they have covering of dry scaly skin, and they lay amniote eggs, and they respire by lungs, and the ventricles, which is partially divided and completely divided in crocodiles, and internal fertilization is what is followed for a successful continuation of their generations. Now, amniote egg, which is an important characteristic features of this from this uh, class. So it contains the water and food supply for the developing embryo and can be laid on land. And it's very important that an egg, it's a system by itself to generate or do to sustain life. So in this context, it should be provided with all systems to give birth to a new life. So there are structures, like if you look at the egg structures here, we have a chorion, amnion, amniotic fluid, embryo, allantois, yolk sac, albumin, and shell. So there are different parts of the egg, which if you just remember the four which are important, which are the extra embryonic structures, which are chorion, amnion, yolk sac, and allantois. So amnion, it provides a watery environment for the embryo. It acts like a cushion and a shock absorber. Yolk sac contains yolk. Yolk is known for food and nutrition, so it contains the food for the embryo. Whereas allantois, it's a sac which stores the waste, and chorion, which allows the oxygen to enter and carbon dioxide to leave. Okay, and the other structures like albumin is just basically egg white, which is a protein. And the reptiles also show they are oviparous, ovoviviparous, and viviparous also. So they show all three sorts of fertilization. So the oviparous is basically eggs are laid and incubated outside the body. Ovoviviparous, wherein the eggs are incubated inside the body, born live, whereas viviparous live given the young ones directly. So the coming to the main topic of today's class is the classification of reptiles. So this is the classification. So as we can see, I have listed out four skull diagrams here: anapsid, diapsid, euryapsid, and synapsid I have given. Euryapsid or parapsid are one and the same. There is a slight modification. So apart from the skull structures, the classification is based on the vacuities or fossae or hole, okay, like structures which are formed in the skull. Based on the number of vacuities formed, they have been classified. So say for example diapsid, there are two vacuities. If you look at anapsid, there are no vacuities at all. So based on these characteristic features, they have been classified. So but class Reptilia has four orders. Okay, order Rhynchocephalia, order Squamata, order Chelonia, order Crocodilia. So order Rhynchocephalia examples are Tuatara, Spinodon, basically one and same. And order Squamata is the largest in the reptilians, which consist of lizards and snakes. Whereas order Chelonia is a true anapsid, which consists of turtles, tortoises, and terrapins, sliders, all that. Whereas order Crocodilia consists of alligators, crocodiles, caiman, gavials, gharials, all those come under order Crocodilia. So coming to the Okay, there's a small mistake here. This is not Diapsida, it is actually Anapsida. Anapsida have two suborders. One is Captorinida, another one is Chelonia. Captorinida is extinct forms, so we shall not discuss about it. So order suborder Chelonia is actually examples are turtle and tortoises. Tortoises. So tortoises and turtles do not have teeth, as we all know, and but instead they possess horny beaks. Whereas tortoises are usually herbivorous, while sea and freshwater turtles are omnivorous. Freshwater turtles are basically they called terrapins. They are omnivores. And body is covered with a shell consisting of two parts: the dorsal carapace and the ventral plastron. Dorsal carapace, the hard shell; the ventral plastron, which are connected by bridges between front and hind legs. The ribs and backbones are fused with the carapace, which is an important characteristic features of the anapsidan animals. Example, I mean in Chelonians specifically. So coming to the parapsidan or Euryapsida, as I said, so these are reptiles with one temporal fossa placed high on the skull. As I said here, Euryapsida, high on the skull there is a single vacuity. The biggest one is the eyeball socket, and one which is is fused with the parietal, squamosal and post-orbital bones. The small hole-like structure is actually the fossa. Fossa are meant for latching on the muscle, so that the mobility for the jaw is given. So the two examples for parapsida are Plesiosaurus and Ichthyosaurus. Ichthyosaurus and Plesiosaurus both are aquatic, and as you see the pictures here, they both are extinct. Whereas Synapsida are also extinct forms, but they are more like mammals, having examples like Cynodon, Dicynodon, and examples. There are several other the reptiles have listed out here, which got extended in late Triassic period, and they continued and evolved, adaptive radiated to form to give rise to the mammals in later stages. Whereas Diapsida also have extinct forms. Seriously, the dinosaurs belong to this Diapsidan lineage. So they possess two temporal fossa in the skull, as we see in this picture, the supratemporal fossa and infratemporal fossa or fenestra. Fenestration, fossae, vacuity, WHOLE hole, HOLE hole, they're all used for identifying the vacuity in the skull. Those terms are used. So coming to the Diapsida, Diapsida has three suborders: Rhynchocephalia, Squamata and Crocodilia, and they possess two temporal fossa in the skull. They include the dinosaurs and Pterosaurus, which dominated the land and air during the Mesozoic era, and also include the most successful modern reptiles, that is crocodiles, snakes and lizards. So Squamata, order Squamata, is further subdivided into Lacertilia and Serpentina. Lacertilia examples are lizards, whereas Serpentina examples are all snakes come under Serpentina. So Rhynchocephalia, which you will study under a separate chapter in specific special characters of Spinodon. However, the order Rhynchocephalia consists of two species that live on some islands of New Zealand, specifically nowhere else on Earth, only on New Zealand. So they are called Tuatara or Spinodon. They look like lizard, but there are certain differences that set the Tuatara apart from lizards. Example: they have a third eye, and they do not have external genitals. Instead, they rub each other during the copulation, whereas there is a crest of thorns or horns on their back. It comes out in the evening to feed on insects and other invertebrates. And order Crocodilia has includes alligator, caimans, crocodiles, and gharials that are found in and around water, as we all know. They eat fish, birds, turtles, and mammals, anything they can maul onto. So they will eat anything and everything. They are carnivores. Members of the crocodile group have legs and feet designed for walking on land and a strong flattened tail used for swimming. So the tail is the swimming organ. The three groups are distinguished from one another by the shape of their heads. So if you look at the pictures here, alligator and crocodile almost look alike, but crocodile, the teeth comes out from the lower jaw and upper jaw. Sorry, from the lower jaw. Whereas in alligator, they do not they do not project upward. Whereas if you look at the Indian gharials, which are usually found in the river Ganges, river Ganga, so which is very common there in North India. So this is the which has a long snout with a sprouted nostrils. So they are Indian gharials. Whereas there is another called gavial, which is false because they do not have projected nostrils as we see in gharials. And caimans are short, which is specifically found in Amazons, where if you have seen the panthers hunting the caimans, which is very common in Amazon in for rainforest. So that is about order Crocodilia. And order Squamata, as I spoke about, includes suborders, two suborders. Suborder Lacertilia, examples are lizards, and suborder Serpentina, examples are snakes. Snakes are carnivorous, we all know, but lizards eat a variety of foods including plants and insects. Snakes have descended from lizards and there are many similarities between them. Some characteristics that distinguish snakes from lizards are: snakes do not have eyelids, but lizards have. So they have immovable eyelids, in fact. So snakes usually have one row of scales on the belly, lizards have many. So one horizontal row of scales are present in the snakes, whereas lizards have plenty of scales all around on the ventral surface. Snakes do not have legs, which is well known. Most lizards have legs. So snakes have jaw bones that disarticulate, allowing them to swallow large um, prey, whereas lizard jaw bones do not disarticulate. They have a limited opening, whereas a snake can open up wider compared to their mouth size. Yeah, the best example is if you can see pythons eating taking out or gulping the larger mammals, which is a common sight. Okay, so this is about the reptilian classification. So kindly go through this. I shall be posting an MCQ for both general characteristics and the classification very soon. So be ready and attend the MCQs without fail. Thank you.